I am so happy to talk with Cesareo Moreno, Chief Curator at the National Museum of Mexican Art in Pilsen. He and our friends at the NMMA are busily preparing for an exhibition called Frida Kahlo, Her Photos, opening April 3rd. Welcome, Cesareo.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
I'm so happy to have you.
Thanks.
So this is, we should let everyone know, we met when we started doing our Frida 2020 exhibition here at the college, and we reached out to you, and you have been such a gentleman and a scholar and a help and a support, and we thank you so much.
Oh, you're very welcome. We love doing this kind of work at the National Museum of Mexican Art.
And so we're doing an exhibition, and you're doing an exhibition, and we wanted you to tell everybody about your exhibition.
Sure, thank you. So this summer, we are hosting an exhibition called Frida Kahlo, Her Photos, or Sus Fotos in Spanish. And basically what it is Frida Kahlo, like so many of us, collected photographs. Not on her phone, back in the day, probably in a shoebox or something like that. And of course, being an artist, images were very important to her. So she collected images from her family, old photos that her father took, photos from Diego Rivera, a few other lovers and friends, dear friends, and then heroes of Mexico. So she collected everything, again, just like we all do now on our cell phones.
But I would imagine, because her and Diego traveled in so many different circles, right, with artists and philosophers and stars and musicians and politicians, I bet that there's a lot of photos with really interesting people.
Oh, they are. Some of them were taken by interesting people, and others, yes, you hit it right on the head. It really does sort of give you a sense of how far she went and what was on her mind, what she loved. Some of the photos, people are actually cut out with scissors, so they've been taken out of the photograph. So even that sort of says something. 6,000 photographs is what she wound up with, and our exhibition showcases about 240 of her photographs in different themes, different ideas, and it doesn't try to put together her life story, but it does tell you a narrative about the kind of person she was. What caught her eye? What did she feel she wanted to save? And so in a sense, we learn about Frida, we learn about Mexico, we learn about this very important time period in the arts in Mexico. Yeah.
Did you, how are you going to display them? Have you decided yet? Is it by theme or?
It is, it's thematic. So, the very first section is her origins, her childhood. There's a beautiful photo of her when she's 5 years old. A good number of photos of her father. He was a photographer.
Right.
And he took a lot of selfies. So there's a whole section of photographs of himself, by himself. And even that sort of shows us, why was Frida so into doing self-portraits?
Right.
In a way, maybe she picked up on her father's, the way he used to take selfies and sort of picked up on it, but then took it somewhere else with her painting.
But what's interesting to me about him doing a selfie is we're talking about 1907 to 1920. He wasn't looking at the image, right?
No.
So he's setting up a camera somewhere, somehow doing a timer or holding it. I mean, think about how hard that was to get it right.
It was very elaborate.
And then you don't know till you develop it, right?
I'm sure there were many that wound up in the garbage, but these are of him over and over and over again, and again mirroring Frida doing self-portraits over and over again. Casa Azul is another section. So people who went through, whether it's her home in Mexico City in Coyoacán. And then, politics and revolution is another section. All the individuals and the movements and the way she was involved so much with Diego in Mexico and other parts of the world, really kind of pushing the idea of socialism and communism while hanging out with capitalists, right? So it's interesting,
isn't it?
It is. It's, you know what? I mean, we can't keep people to only doing a certain thing, especially artists. Artists enjoy good company and interesting conversation, regardless of who it's with.
So if someone came to our show or came to your show, even though you're in Chicago and we're here in Glen Ellyn, it's not a bad Uber ride.
Oh, not at
because you're
all.
not in the deep part of the loop.
Right.
You're further out toward
Sure.
us on the west side in Pilsen, which is an amazing neighborhood.
Yeah.
Didn't it just win a huge award?
It did. It's one of the top neighborhoods in the world. I don't know who figures this stuff out, but it was in the world. A lot of great restaurants there now.
Yes.
There's a lot of good things to do.
Good
whether
Mexican
it's,
food.
Great Mexican food. Cafes, bars, and a great museum. Yeah, murals. We're known for our murals and our street art. No, it's a great neighborhood to visit.
It really is. And since we've developed this friendship, and I've gone out a few times and been to a couple of your events, and I always leave extra time to go eat because I'm like, it's so good.
Good move.
It is, and it's a nice family neighborhood that you can walk around in.
Yeah.
But what I think I want people to understand who might not be from our area, and we have a lot of people flying in now, is you can Uber ride back and forth. You could stay in the city, go there, take the train here, vice versa.
Yeah.
And
we're close to the 290 expressway, which
is easy.
5 minutes, get on the expressway, and then
You're
over
here.
here, same thing. Yeah.
And 5 minutes off.
Yes.
And so it's a great, easy access to get to each other.
It is. And I think both of the exhibitions that we're hosting this year really do complement each other.
They do too.
You have the artwork here that she produced. At our place, we have sort of the story, some of the chisme, the gossip, a lot of the photographs. They're not historic, but they tell a great story. And so I think seeing both exhibits, I think really give you a great idea of what she was up against, and then what resulted in her life.
Well, and here's what else I like. We have the garden that, I don't know if I've shared this with you, but Ball Horticulture, which is a huge distributor, they're the largest in the world of plants, is going to do our garden.
Oh, beautiful.
So you can come see the garden, see the children's area, do the historic timeline, see the art. But when you go to Pilsen, you're going to see the influence Frida had also on today's Mexican community and a really relevant community here in Chicago. So I think it kind of brings it all full circle.
It does. Yeah, a lot of Frida love.
Isn't there?
Yes, there is, both in Mexico as well as in Chicago.
I think that she inspires people, though, because I always say she's like a prism, and that everybody finds their own connection to her. Be it the physical things that she overcame with her body and the pain she endured, be it being a feminist, but she was a feminist who was also very feminine in the way she dressed. She loved her animals, she loved her garden, so she was very relatable on so many levels.
It's funny, the probably more than any other artist, Frida really reaches out to diverse communities.
Yes, she does.
And she does so because people see themselves in her. They may not see themselves in other members looking, but through her, they do connect. And I think that is why she has been so popular inside the Mexican community, outside the Mexican community, in the arts, outside the arts, social justice, politics, you name it.
It's all there.
It is.
It's all here. The summer of 2020.
Yeah.
So I hope that our friends come to see both exhibitions, and I'm so glad you are here today. Frida Kahlo, Her Photos opens April 3rd and runs through August 2nd. Celebrate the year of Frida Kahlo with us and make sure to visit both the National Mexican Museum of Art and the Cleve Carney Museum of Art this summer. Tickets are now on sale for Frida Kahlo 2020, opening June 1st at the Cleve Carney Museum of Art and Mackinac Art Center. Experience 26 original masterworks by Frida Kahlo on loan from the Olmedo Museum and a full museum experience that will encompass the Art Center. Highlights include a historical timeline with recreations of Kahlo's dresses, bed, and medical braces, and a photo exhibit with over 100 images of the artist's life. There will also be an incredible garden designed by the visionaries at Ball Horticultural, and a children's area, a concession area, a gift shop, and more. For more information and to buy tickets, visit frida2020.org or call 630-942-4000.